When you peel back the layers of the politics of food, whoa. All the issues of our time, climate change, health, equity, all sit there through the lens of food. The amount of income you have defines our health. So if you're poor, you're going to be sick.
Food is never just food. It's a whole host of other problems that come attached to food, like poverty, malnutrition, chronic illness, social isolation.
And when you look at all the diet-related illnesses that are out there, diabetes, coronary heart disease, obesity, they all disproportionately affect low-income communities.
Our food system and access to good food privileges people who aren't low income. And so if you're low income, the cards are stacked against you because your options are limited. You're typically living in neighborhoods where fast food and liquor stores are more prevalent than grocery stores. Your income does not allow for you to be able to access good food.
I had just been diagnosed with postpartum depression and anxiety. My husband had just been laid off. We had just moved houses so that we could accommodate a baby, and everything came to like a complete halt. So it was my first time where I moved from being very sure of how to take care of myself and my kids to suddenly being responsible for like not only a toddler, but the baby was breastfeeding, so I had to take care of myself as well. In addition, I had gestational diabetes. And it doesn't help when people are like, oh, well, you can just go to the food bank and you can just get stuff. I think that there's a culture of anxiety when people are food insecure that, you know, they need to line up, and if they're not there in time, then there's not going to be enough. And the energy gets really sort of tense. I talked to a lot of people that I waited in the lineups with. They definitely were there because they were in a bad situation and not a situation they had chosen themselves. I think that if you don't know how to get out of that situation, it's easy to get into this kind of cycle. Plus then you think, oh, well, I'm in here because this happened to me, so maybe I deserve this. And all of the service agencies that I had been to seeking food was food my family never ate. You know, it's almost a little bit like, well, this is what we have, so you better take it. But in the process, I had to prove all kinds of information, and I just felt really gross after. Because to me, food is something that's fun, and you make it, and it's celebratory, and it tastes good, and it makes you feel good. So suddenly, all these other emotions that were not happy ones were attached with what was going on.
We live in a really difficult time where people are blamed for their poverty. People are poor budgeters. It's a character flaw. It's a lifestyle choice. Nonsense. People are struggling because they have a pension that doesn't help them cover the bills. They're working 2 or 3 jobs and the minimum wage isn't strong enough, or the social assistance rates they receive don't help them cover all their bills, or they have a mental health issue that they're really struggling with, or an addiction. I mean, there's a whole gamut of reasons why people fall out of the economy, fall out of society. And our work is to be there to help stabilize and support people to move the way they see fit.
You've got your reasons, and it's not your fault. We'll see where this leaves us.
Okay, we're good, I think.
Do you want me to just split them in 3?
If you'd like.
No, it's up to you. Yeah.
Find something more.
Welcome to the Alex Community Food Center, where good food is just the beginning. We're a dignified space in the heart of Forest Lawn in Calgary, and we bring people together to grow, cook, share, and advocate for good food.
It started with a very simple idea, is that you listen to people. They were pretty clear that standing in line and receiving an unhealthy hamper of food wasn't helping them, and that we needed to create a space that was more dignified, more respectful, more focused on healthy food. And if you walk in the door, forget all the bureaucracy. You walk in the door and you establish yourself as needing some help. I'm here. What are we going to do?
It's a converted restaurant space. It can seat about 120 people comfortably, and we have a full commercial kitchen where people can take cooking classes, work together to create and cook meals for the rest of the community. And people can just come in and have a coffee and get to know each other, and there's no cost involved at all. And when it comes to meeting people around the food issue, we do a lot. So we offer meal programs, and people can come in on a Wednesday or a Friday. They can sit down and they can be served a meal. That means there's no lines, there's no means tests. And when they come in and sit down, they're not just served a meal, they're served a nutritious meal that's made with love. And the food is never made with ingredients that are processed or canned. It's always made with ingredients that are fresh, never wilted, dented, or substandard. So we have 3 program areas here at the Food Center which make our model unique. We focus on access, we focus on skills, and we focus on knowledge. We have the advocacy office here is set up so that community members with lived experience who have gone through some training are able to support other community members in being able to access not just resources and referrals, but connections to other community members. It's like, why not provide a space where you can begin to solve those problems? Why send them off somewhere else when it can be resolved in this space and by community?
I think a lot of people come here because they think it's a typical service agency, but it's not. There's an openness here to share your situation, and there's no judgment around it. You can come as you are, where you are, and however you are, and that's it.
Community members realize that poverty is not an individual problem. It's not somebody's fault. It's a greater systemic problem at play, and they feel motivated and inspired to then advocate for their communities at an individual level, at a community level, and at a systemic level.
I made Yorkshire puddings for the first time in class.
Yay! So good.
I was so excited.
They
about
worked
that.
out so well too,
Oh my
Erin.
gosh.
I feel empowered and enriched with my experiences at the Food Center.
That's nice.
When I come to class, I feel re-energized after the tough weeks.
That's awesome.
I think a lot of the relationships that I've had, that I've built through going to the classes and volunteering, I still talk to everybody every couple of days. And it's nothing earth-shattering. It's like, hi, how are you? I'm thinking about you. The creation of that kind of a community was something else that inspired me to come back to the Alex and keep coming back.
I made really quick evaluation today, so we'd have lots of time to learn a little bit about Julie and do her recipes, her Filipino recipes. Delicious. We're gonna be doing the Olympia here. Julie's kind of gonna be bouncing back and forth with it, so we can set up stations here. So nothing has been washed, so you guys will need to wash all the vegetables that are there today.
And then I'm guessing cutting it into chunks, right?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Small enough to, for bite size. It'll cook fast.
With the skin, it literally just comes off. It's really easy. You literally cut it like this, go around it, Literally
the only bone in there, right?
Yeah, it's the only one.
So remember when we did this the first time too, and I talked about having the chicken-free hand? So where the hand that's holding the knife never touches chicken, right? Because then if like the phone rings or you need to like turn the tap on if you're by yourself, then you don't have to worry about that cross-contamination.
I don't think I would have made it. I was so desperate. And I'm sure their stories are just as desperate. And I never shared really with anyone here how desperate I was. But they never asked. I never had to say, which meant a lot. Because there's nothing like having to justify yourself every single time. But now I think it's completely different. Like I think about moving forward and what that looks like instead of what it did in the past.
You don't have to tell me where you have been. The desperate feeling and the things you see. Things that you see.
This is a community space first and a service provision space second. There's a lot of dignity in that approach about centering the conversation around community. People will come in and you feel them visibly relax as soon as they come into the space. So there's this real sense of feeling at home or feeling comfortable, feeling a really deep sense of community.
I'm a new diabetic. Because of the programs here, I took the Food Fit and the International Avenue. Now I'm on 1 needle a day. Without this course and the work that they do here, I wouldn't be where I am right now. I would probably be in the hospital.
I find that sometimes, we get really wrapped up in what we're supposed to do and how it's supposed to look. At the end of the day, this is what it's supposed to look like. You get to feel loved and like you're part of something bigger. There's something to do with making something with your hands, with other people, and then sharing it. That happens here, that creates that space.
Since we figured out fire, we've been coming together around food. It kind of lies at the heart of humanity. And so we use the power of food, the way it's connected to culture and health, the idea that everyone deserves a seat at the table. And so our mission is to create health, belonging, and justice in low-income communities across the country through the power of food.